Where is the peace in 2023? Technology has increased. People are searching on ChatGPT, trying to figure out what peace is and how do I get it. People are looking through AI, trying to figure out if AI is going to, bring more peace into our world, and it's only causing more anxiety, more panic. People all over the world are trying to find in different spheres, in different categories, their own version of peace, a sense of world peace, a sense of tranquility. How do we get along with each other? And Isaiah the prophet, thousands of years ago, he said this: even though the world is crazy, even though the mountains are shaken, even though the hills are being removed, God promises that his love for us will not be shaken. If there's one thing we can bank on, if there's one thing we can stand on, if there is a stability for our times, it is the love of God. Yes, Jesus loves me. He says the unfailing love of God will not be shaken, nor the covenant of peace. God gave a covenant to the children of God. When we put our faith in Jesus Christ, we're a part of that covenant. What does that word peace mean? In the Hebrew translation, it is shalom. Shalom is the greeting they give. I was just in Israel a couple months ago, right before the war broke out. And when I was there, everywhere I went, they would say shalom, Shabbat shalom, shalom, shalom. It was a greeting for hello, goodbye, but the greeting meant peace be with you. Peace. That was their greeting. Give peace, peace, peace. And shalom was not just something they said, it was something they wanted to cultivate. A sense of how do we cultivate shalom in our homes? How do we cultivate shalom in our communities? How do we have shalom? Well, the promise for shalom came really in Luke chapter 1, verse 76. The prophet Zechariah, before Jesus showed up, he says to his son, John the Baptist, right when he's born, he says, and you, my child, will be called a prophet of the Most High. You will go before the Lord to prepare the way for him and to give his people the knowledge of salvation through the forgiveness of their sins. That's what John the Baptist did. He says, because of the tender mercy of our God, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven. And then I love this last verse right here. He says, to shine on those who are living in darkness. We're in a world that's getting darker and darker, right? People are losing their minds. They're losing their morals. They're losing their moral compass. But he says, this light is going to shine in a dark place. And in the shadow of death, it will guide people on the path of shalom, the path of peace. If I could look right now at your stress level, I like to draw thought bubbles when I'm preaching, and I just imagine what you're thinking when I'm preaching. I imagine what you're thinking up in the top, what you're thinking down low here. Anyone who gets up to use the bathroom, I have a thought bubble. I'm like, they left because they're offended at me, or I don't know. I have thought. If I could put a stress bubble above your head and find out what your current stress level is right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I could see everybody's stress level, I want you to think about that. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your current stress level that you walked in here with today? What is it? Just shout out the number. Let's be honest. Don't lie in church. What is it right now? I see 6. I hear 10 over there. I'm not going to ask why. I hear someone last night said 1,000. I was like, that's not even on the scale, but okay. Someone said 0. Who said 0? You are too young to say 0. I don't think it's till we get older where we're like, I don't care anymore. The things I used to worry about. I look forward to being 85 years old and just not caring about anything, right? You know what I'm saying? But I think when we're younger, we care about a lot and we can get stressed about a lot of things. Just last Sunday, we had a Friendsgiving lunch right after church, and it was going to be awesome. It was awesome. It was beautiful. But I was starting to stress out. I had just finished preaching our 11 a.m. service, and then I preached the 9 a.m., and I had been up early, and then I preached Saturday night service. I had prayed with a lot of people, and all 5 kids wanted to go into the Friendsgiving lunch here at the church. So Ellie is pulling on me. She's like, Daddy, you're not looking at me enough. And Gianna's pulling on me. She's like, Daddy, me. That's all she can say right now. And then Liam's like, Daddy, we need to have some one-on-one time. Benny's like, Daddy, I want some one-on-one time. Mac is like, Daddy, I want you to go get me some caged chicken from the Friendsgiving. And then people are coming up to me. They're like, Pastor Paul, will you pray for me and my kids? I'm like, I need prayer for my kids right now. When do I get to take the hat off and just chill out because I'm stressed right now? Anyone ever get stressed? Maybe in the last week? Was Thanksgiving a little stressful for anybody in the room? We went on a road trip to Branson, and listen, Branson's great. It took us 2.5 hours to just leave Tulsa from just figuring out what the kids needed. A diaper got poopy. Kids are screaming. Kids wanted to change seats. One kid didn't want to have his seatbelt on. One kid, couldn't find his art book to draw, and they're shouting. And me and Ashley are like, in Jesus' name, bless this trip with shalom, But the point is this: there's a lot of things in our world to be stressed about. Yesterday, I pulled up to the gas station at Quick Trip to get my boys some Gatorades for the wrestling tournament they were in. And I could just feel the stress in Quick Trip. I pulled into that gas station parking lot. Cars are honking at each other. People are waiting to get gas. People are shouting in the parking lot. People are throwing up their fists, lifting up fingers with their fists. I go inside Quick Trip. The man behind the cash register is screaming at the cash register because it won't close and it won't shut. And then the quarters start falling out because some guy wants change and this guy wants tobacco and this guy can't get tobacco. And this guy drops the donuts and the kids scream, I want the glazed donut. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's the most wonderful time of the year. How many of y'all think this might be the most stressful season of the entire year? Come on, can we just be real in church for a second? It gets stressful. It gets crazy. I go to this wrestling tournament yesterday, and the wrestling tournament is chaos. Now, it's controlled chaos. There's 5 different matches happening at the same time. There's 200 people on the gym floor, parents screaming, referees blowing whistles, people walking around the mats. The kids don't know where to look. I don't know where to look, and I'm the adult. I'm like, where do I look? And I could feel it yesterday in the gym. I was looking everywhere because referees are blowing whistles. These kids are wrestling. These kids are wrestling. These parents are screaming. And my son, Benny, he was about to wrestle. And I could tell he was looking everywhere. And I just said, Benny, just listen to the voice that matters the most. In the middle of chaos, in the middle of a stressful environment, Benny won that wrestling match because he tuned in to the voice that matters most. Isaiah 9 verse 6 says, for a child will be born to us. Israel was waiting on a Messiah that would be perfect, that would be packaged as a king riding on a white horse, overthrowing the Roman Empire. And the prophet Isaiah, 700 years, says, hold up. He's not coming as a big king throwing over the Roman Empire. He's not coming the way you think he's going to come. He's coming as a baby. Sometimes peace is not packaged the way we thought it was going to be. And maybe that's why we get stressed, because we're demanding a perfect package in this season. And when things aren't perfect, we're trying to find the peace. Isaiah says, for a child will be born to us, and to us a son will be given, and the government will rest on his shoulders, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. We're living in a time where people are losing their minds, running faster than ever, consuming more information than ever, buying more stuff than ever, the most materialistic society that we've ever seen. How do we keep our peace in a nation that's gone crazy? How do we keep our peace in a world that's gone crazy? You know what, I was thinking about what your stress level might be, and some of y'all answered 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Some of y'all, anyone get close to a 10 in the last week? Anyone get close to a 10? Anyone cross that 10 like the top bursted? If you're not raising your hand, your family knows it. They're like pointing at you right now. But here's a deeper question to ask. Where is the source of your stress coming from? If you could, in this current season, you might have 10 different sources, but if you could narrow it down to one single source, if you were like, if I really thought about it, this thing right here is causing the biggest amount of stress for me. And I want you to think about it. Close your eyes, and you better not point at me either. Ashley, don't point at me. And I don't want you to point at your spouse. I want you to close your eyes. Just imagine who or what is causing the most stress for you. Okay, open your eyes. Don't fall asleep. I know we had a lot of turkey this week. We had a lot of stuffing. The stuffing was stressful too, right? All right, now open your eyes. I think the answer to that is found in 4 categories. I think people get stressed because of 4 different reasons. Number 1, people get stressed because of a place. Number 2, a pace. Number 3, a problem. And number 4, a person. Or you might say, it's not just one person, it's people. I can love God, but loving people is my problem. Homo sapiens, right? Human beings. People. It's a place. For some, you get stressed going to a place. You get stressed going to where you work. You're like, my work environment is stressful. For some, it's a pace. You go, I feel like I'm running around and I'm constantly going from one thing to the next thing and I don't have a good pace right now. Y'all remember the story of Mary and Martha in the Bible? Luke chapter 10. Jesus is over at Mary and Martha's house, and Martha is cleaning in the kitchen, and she is working on things. She is doing the dishes. She is sweeping the floor. And Mary's over there having a shalom moment with Jesus, and Martha's over here stressed out. What a good picture of shalom or stress. And you go, well, hold on, Paul. Let's not be too harsh on Martha. She was doing all the work that Mary was not doing. You ever get frustrated when people are not pulling their weight? When they're not cleaning up the apartment, they're not cleaning up their rooms, they're not making their bed, they're not doing the dishes. Anyone just like, you're like, I could use some help right now. That's where Martha was at. She was stressed because Mary wasn't helping her. And she says, Jesus, why didn't you tell Mary to come into the kitchen and help me with the dishes? And Jesus says, Martha, 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 take a chill pill. Turn to the person next to you and say, chill out, chill out. And Jesus says, Martha, you are worried about many things. The word worry is interchangeable with stress. You are stressed about many things. But one thing is important right now. We have to know what's the most important thing in moments. Because sometimes it is important to do a chore. But sometimes it's important to just look at your family and be present. Sometimes it's important to work on work. And then sometimes it's important to hang the phone up and arrive with who is most important in that moment. And when we don't have good margin, when we're living with a very hectic pace, everybody pays for our stress.